Okay. Or not. I don't know. I've got my, what do you call it? I've got my laptop open and I'm watching my channel to see if there is a live show. I don't see it. We have one like. Oh, Splattercat. There you go. Okay, so I am live. I'm going to try to put it on my laptop because I'm broadcasting on my phone. Oh, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Hold on, hold on. Let's see if I can get this going. I'm really sorry about the tech issues, man. Something's going on, though, right? I mean, this hasn't been an issue until sort of recently. Now there's like, the stream starts dropping and shit. I don't know why. If you were using data from your phone to stream, then it's possible the provider issue. So I did notice that I had several windows open. You know what I mean? I shouldn't say windows. I should say apps open, and that I know that eats up a ton of shit or whatever. Uh, that or it's the juice. Yeah. Yes, it could very likely be the juice. You never know. I wonder if we'll get people back. Oh, we got 5 people back already. I don't know who they are. It would be lovely to have you say hello, and then I can have a sense of what's going on here. That would be lovely. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know how far I want to go on that. I think I'll probably leave that, not this here. I'll just leave that for now. That, you were saying something about Italian and Irish combo, and then it died. Oh, shit. Hello, Watery Design Pro. Wow, what a cool name. What are you, a designer? Do you do any kind of design work? So, yeah, I just think that like Italian and Irish make like a fantastic combo, for ethnicity. I gotta kind of come clean a little bit and tell you there was this girl in college that was half Italian, half Irish, and had a mad crush on her. So I admit it. Okay. Anyway, let's move on with the artwork. The background noise is gone. Wow. So that's fascinating. That's fascinating. Why is it gone? Muy interesante. It's muy interesante. The background noise is gone. So what happened to it? It flew away. Hopefully it won't return. That would be terrible. Let's see. A creative animation channel. My name is based off of a YouTuber named Max Design Pro. Oh, cool. Wow. Animation. Who doesn't love animation? I love animation, but I always feel like it's got to be one of the hardest things to do. Like it just seems super time consuming, and you got to have like a lot of patience. interestingly, I almost got a job as an art teacher at a university program for animators. Like the program was obviously animation. Um, and I had to say, like, I knew some of the students were friends of mine, coworkers, and I just noticed that like almost everybody in the program did not know how to draw. And I'm like, how the hell are you running an animation program and everybody sucks? Like it's just like garbage. And there does seem to be a kind of like the standard for animation nowadays is like if it's kind of cheap and homemade and looks like, I don't know, garbagey or something that's supposed to be cool, like that's indie or something. I don't know. Is that true, or what do you think about that? I'd like to hear your opinion on that matter. Now, granted, it takes a lot of big budget and a lot of time or whatever to like do super intensely detailed, you know, animations and stuff. You're not doing, Akira or something like that. Um, mm, let's see. I'm in the thick of it. Sorry. Let's read a little bit of reading here. I get the best. Both worlds being McWap. Oh, I see. I have thick, wonderful hair. Apparently, good. South Park is crap animation and successful. Yeah, yeah. I just that's as an artist, I can't abide by that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I get it, but I mean, even The Simpsons, as simple as it is like has quality to it. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, that's part of why I never got into South Park is because I can't stand the style of it. It's just so retardedly simple, and I know that's like the meant to be part of like whatever the message is, so to speak. But I don't know. I don't jive with that. Um, anyway, I guess I'm just a snob. Well, what do you know? All right, who's here? Who's here? Splattercat. Alexander Hamilton is here. Fabulous. Wow. Talk to us, Alexander Hamilton. What is going on? What's your take on politics these days, sir? I would really love to know. This is a free speech platform. Everybody is welcome to speak their mind openly, freely. Nothing is off limits. Granted, YouTube has its little stupid rules and stuff, but hold on. I think my nickname is Donald. Oh, that's curious. Substandard has become standard. Precisely, yeah. I'm trying to read, catch up. Hawk Ta. Oh, charming. Lovely. Um, I would say that generally, though, we do like to get into some serious political convos, though, here, which is fun. Not so much on like the dirty talk or potty mouth stuff or whatever that is. It's not. There's lots of other places you can do that. Um, I did drop the N word like a couple shows ago. I think contextually it worked though. Anyway, I guess that's for the fans to decide. Let's see. We got hi Omer Glitch. Omer Glitch is here. Hello. Do you guys know each other? Aaron Burr would say some topics are off the table. Um, what's going on, Omer Glitch? Are you in animation as well, or what's the score? So, the first round of white South Africans have made it to America. It's a big day. It's a wonderful thing. And of course, the anti-whites are seething over that. They can't stand that. Their mission, of course, is to, you know, outpopulate, destroy us. The whole thing. That's what they're all about. But so that's a thing. I'm wondering how many more will come. I think this is kind of an interesting topic. Hopefully a lot more. But it's funny, we discussed this the other day on the show, that, like the South Africans don't want to leave, which I get. I'm not trying to, I respect that. That's fine. But they literally are the definition of like political refugees. The government is calling on the people to murder them. It's like we're gonna steal their land and kill them. They have songs about it in South Africa. Anyway, I'm still wondering how I make animations at 9-year-old. Okay, I don't know what that means. Nah, comics all the way. Good for you, bro. So just a quick note here: if you're 9 years old, I recommend that, like, this show isn't really for you. This is for adults. This is a forever problem with my show, is that I'm required by YouTube to tell them, do I want this show for adults or not? And I always say not. And then somehow or other, I get all kinds of kids in the chat. And I'm like, what the hell? So it's just not appropriate. I mean, it's not only that, I want the adults in the show to feel at ease, and comfortable. So it's really not anything here for kids. You can go watch some Roblox videos or something. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just being honest. Like, I know it's fun to watch people draw and stuff. That's cool or whatever. But again, it's not for kids. The show's not for kids. Creative servers and knives. Let's read. How old are you, Kent? Oh, Soy Goy Roy's back. Excellent. Hey, how old am I? Let me first ask you, how old do you think I am? Somebody the other day said she thought I was 43. I was like, wow, that's a very specific number. That's really interesting. I asked her, like, what gives you, like, what made you determine that? She didn't answer, whatever, but that's fine. So I always like to know what people think. And my answer is generally this. I always say that, like, I have an old soul and a young spirit. And everyone's like, I want to know how old you are. So part of the reason why I don't share how old I am is that I've discovered that in this world of people who are so open-minded, that they kind of box you in. They're like, oh, you're from that generation. Okay, well, this is what I can say. This is what I can't say. This is what, blah, 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 da, 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 da. And I don't want to be boxed in. I don't want to be limited by that, like, I can only talk to people my age. That's fucking retarded. That's retarded. Come on. Like, I can talk to anybody, Again, I just said, like, the show's not for kids, but you generally know what I mean. I'm referring to, like, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds. Why would I limit myself? It's kind of silly. I don't think that's really intellectually sound, if you think about it. Everybody's got something to share, and I don't know. That's another thing about me, is that I've always been very, like, I don't know what to call it, like able to kind of float in and out of different like social spheres very well. I remember when I was in high school, I noticed like starting in like junior high that everybody started to kind of break off into cliques, and that like these people can't talk to those people, and these people can't sit with those people, and I was like, why? Like that made no sense to me at all. That was stupid. And so I every day I would dress a little bit differently. Like one day I would dress like, one of the kids that like smoke cigarettes and listen to heavy metal. And then the next day I would dress up like a jock and hang out with the jocks. The next day I'd be nerdy and hang out with the nerds. And I kind of bounced around a lot and was sort of everybody's friend. And it just that whole thing just never made any sense to me. Um, and I think that was a nice thing. That was a cool thing to do. And not like, I mean, to me, I just did it because it was the natural thing for me to do. But now that I'm older, I've discovered that the cliques are age groups. Like, are you millennial, Gen Z, Gen X, Boomer? What our movement is very, very judgmental about Boomers too. And I'm not a Boomer. I have friends that joke and say that I am, which annoys the shit out of me. I don't know why they do that, but whatever. It's like their little joke. But anyway, yeah. So I don't know. That's my answer. Let's see. It looks like Splattercat's been busy. Wow. Not comics. Yeah. There's a lot of deleted messages. Creative animation channel. Well, yeah. No, we're not doing that. Yeah, kids, get out of here. Well, it's past your bedtime, kids. Brush your teeth and go to bed. Well, it's comics, so it's going to attract kids. So that you got a point there, though. You do have a point. Um, them sausage fingers give you away. That was fucking hysterical, dude. I always joke and say I have sausage fingers. That's so funny, dude. That's so. You're the only other person who's ever said that. How funny! Oh my god, that's funny. So like I'm a bass player. I do martial arts and I draw, and so I use my hands plus the computer. But I just use my hands a lot, quite a lot, and I've been through some. They've been through some rough times. So in fact, I have like calluses on my knuckles. I don't know if you can see those, but that's another story. Anyway. Okay, what's next here? Sebi R is here. Welcome back, Sebi R. Good to have you. Just don't talk to kids. I guess you got a point there. See, I don't know they're kids until they say they're kids, though. You know what I mean? And then I'm like, shit. But yeah, it's getting frustrating. I mean, when that whole thing started, I was just like, oh, let's just be nice to them. But then after a while, I was kind of like, yeah, this isn't really the right thing. We got to get. So I'm not trying to be rude or whatever, but it's not for kids. So there you go, and now you know. Wonderful, wonderful. Omer Glitch says later peeps have to have a good stream. Thank you. Just wanted to see what's going on. That's nice. Come back later. All right, Nat Atheist is here. Have a great night. Good to see you, bud. Welcome back. I see you on the next one, Donald. Okay, gotta go. Adios. All right, wow. Well, I'm glad that Splattercat was able to help out with the admin stuff for a bit there. It was very helpful. So I turned the music off because I thought the music was somehow screwing up the stream. Because I don't know, maybe it has something to do with like how many devices can be on with the Wi-Fi. I don't know. EW9 Design. Hello, EW9 Design. Quick question for you. How old are you? If you are under 18 or not, that's kind of what we're looking to find out here. If you have a design, if design is in your name, I would assume you're an adult. You're probably a freelancer, or 35. Yeah, you're definitely old enough for this show. It's not like, I mean, I don't. It's not like this show is like super adultish or something or other, but we just don't want little kids lurking and stuff. It's just kind of odd. I think what I'm trying to say. So, do you do freelance design, or what's your gig? What kind of work do you do? I've been looking into like freelance websites and stuff for work. I need a second job. I gotta kick some ass. I mean, I'd like to just do this, but the fates don't seem to be working in my favor so much lately. Which brings to mind this interesting idea. I get a lot of I research a lot on quantum physics, spirituality, after death experiences, out of body, astral projection, meditation, just all kinds of things of that nature. Very interested in that. And one of the streamers that kind of popped up in my algorithm said a phrase that has really stuck in my head. He says, what did he say? He was saying it's all about frequency. What are you broadcasting? What are you broadcasting? Meaning, like, what is your frequency? Are you broadcasting sort of negative energy into the quantum field, negative thoughts, thoughts that are like self-sabotaging, things of this nature? And I'm like, wow, I need to think. I need to kind of like, rethink this a bit, There's really something there. Let's read. I hope Shiloh gets 6 million. Oh, thank you, sir. I strongly agree. I haven't really been following that. I don't. Is there any new news regarding Shiloh and her GoFundMe, whatever it is? I'm loving how triggering that is to anti-whites. I think it's about time that they got a taste of their own fucking medicine in terms of like, everything, I need a different marker here, so I'm going to switch a Rooney. Let's see. There's no way she's gotten 6 million. Oh, no, he's just kidding. He's just gonna, I think you must know the reference to 6 million, right? So we go, mostly experimenting with it. I enjoy drawing and process of it, and it's satisfying watching you work. True talent, my friend. Oh, thank you. It's very kind of you to say. Mucho apreciado. That's my faux Spanish for you. Makes me feel fancy, when I can. Ooh, that's a muy interesante, So anyway, you know what? Since you're new, maybe I should give you a quick show of the other pages of the comic so that you can see more of the story, more of my style. I'm going to grab some pages in a second for you, so hang tight. Just want to kind of fish up this hand here. Hang tight. All right. So, uno momento. It's the time to see the wonderful art from Donald Kent. He's very good. He's a very nice man. He's a nice boy. Grew up in Brooklyn in a fine Italian family. No, I'm not Italian, but I love my I love my Dago friends. Ooh. I say that because I love them. Okay. So anyway, here's a little bit of that action for you. Mostly experiment read that. Have you great memory of where to place certain lines? Get Cubed is here. What a cool name. That's such a cool name. You have great memory of where to place certain lines. That's an interesting thing to say. Great memory. Well, it really, really is a form of understanding. Like how lines should look, where they go, the texture, the line weight. It's many people have asked me, and I find it very, very hard to explain. I think part of it is that I'm working. I'm focusing on my work, so it's just a little too hard to kind of do all those things at the same time, if that makes sense. So Get Cubed, what's up with you, man? How you doing in Cubeville, Cube World? Oh, this is some crazy shizmo right here. Whoa. Transformations. Oh, this part's a little rough to watch. This is where the main character discovers his wife was murdered, his pregnant wife is murdered, and it breaks his heart so badly that he transforms into this dark. Imagine if, well, like Homelander is supposed to be kind of evil, but imagine if Homelander. Well, okay, do you know who Black Adam is? Did you ever hear of Black Adam from DC Comics? There was a movie. They had The Rock play his character. It's something like a Black Adam type character. But yeah, there's some more artworky for you. Let's give you a little show. There's a bit of a riot going on here. This is one of our favorite friends right here. This guy's a fascist superhero. What do you guys think about that? Give me your opinions. I'll give you 10 seconds to write them down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2. Vex doesn't like Westguard. That is for darn tootin' right there, my man. Yeah. I mean, even what's his face? Even Militia Man in the beginning of the story, he gives Westguard the finger and says, "I don't work with Nazis." You know, he calls him a Nazi. You know, and I just noticed a little touch up I need to do on this page. I'm gonna do real quick. Sometimes little things slip under the radar, and you gotta grab them. Grab while the grabbing is good, I should say. It didn't come out very well. My English no good. Well, I'm really sad that our French friend is not in the chat anymore. I'm really sad about that. Yeah, I kind of wonder, like, I suppose if like you figure, you know, in Europe, countries are like the size of what the states are in America. You know, you could drive an hour and be in another country with different language. You know, and so like if say in America every state has its own language, you could imagine how, you know, like, oh, I speak Texan and I speak uh, New Mexican and I speak Californian, and you know how that would kind of play out. You know, interesting. It's a muy interesante. Anyway, let's see what we can do here. Fix this up a bit. But with language, you gotta be immersed in it. You know, you gotta be around it long enough. Like, and that they're, how do I say, like, linguists literally do have a different. Their brain is literally wired in a unique way. Like, the human mind has different learning. I'm trying to say, like learning capacities. Like I'm a visual learner, which is why I'm good with art, visual art, you know. Other people are mathematical, other people are kinesthetic, like dancers. Everything's about motion and movement. It's fascinating. It's an interesting topic. Um, anyways, so let's read some chats. We got Soygoy Roy in the house. He says, I don't know. I see fascism as a complicated ideology in response to communism. This is true. But some of my best friends are fascists. That's awesome. I think canceling people for being fascist is dumb. True. I think most people don't have any idea what fascism really is, which is why I had an expert on fascism come on my show and I interviewed him. And if you guys want to get enlightened and not use the word incorrectly, or just get out of the black hole of like communist dialectic, then look around my YouTube channel for an interview with the amazing Cultured Thug. Cultured Thug. He is an expert, and he has a YouTube channel of his own. Well, he's moved over to Rumble because it's just safer, I guess, for his content. But you can find him both on YouTube and Rumble. And the channel's called, you guessed it, Cultured Thug. And so here's a quickie. Fascism is not the actual word for fascism. Isn't that funny? Third position is the proper term for fascism. Fascism is the Italian version of third position. There's a German version, a Romanian version, a Chilean version, on and on and on. So just a little something to make you more enlightened. There you go. This is coming out fairly nice. Let's see what's next. Gotta use this old boy. Your explanations are ASMR. Oh, welcome to Juan Yasso. Juan Yasso. People say I've got a nice voice, and I think that's very sweet. That's a very nice, kind thing to say, so I appreciate that. It's, I thank my parents for that. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for giving me a nice voice. I have to be honest, I think it's really, really boosted my content. Like, people like my content because they like my voice. It's kind of funny, isn't it? It's kind of interesting. So I'm going to use that as much as I can. The funny thing, though, is how I use accents and stuff. But that's just like a bonus, I guess. So whatever. What does ASMR stand for? I know it's that, like, when those people do like they talk to you like like relaxing, and it's kind of like, I remember accidentally discovering ASMR on YouTube. I don't know how, it just popped up in my algorithm. I don't know how. And it was this like beautiful woman who talks to the camera like she's talking to you. And she's like, how was your day at work? Let me take your shoes. Are you hungry? It's like, and she like leans in to kiss you and stuff. And she's like, she just is madly in love with you. And I'm like, this is the weirdest shit I've ever seen. What is this stuff? Like, why is this woman acting like this? And it's really actually terribly sad, because if you think about it, it just shows like how many people out there just feel so alone, and are so broken, and yeah, it's a thing, I don't know. I just, that's all I gotta say about that. Whew. Deep. It's very deep. So let's move on here. Autonomous sensory meridian response. Wow, bro. How is it that you know the answer to every fucking question, you bastard? You cheeky bastard. You always got some smart answer for everything that we talk about on this show. Bloody hell, I can't stand it any longer. I don't like that you're always the smartest person in the room. Makes me look stupid. You cheeky bastard, you. Anyway, that's pretty cool. It's kind of weird though. I don't know. Am I weird for thinking it's weird? I don't know. Maybe. But I think like the bigger sort of topic that is maybe of interest here is like the issue of loneliness, frankly. I think that feminism has done a great deal of damage to Western civilization. And like one of the net results is like a world full of like really, really sad men, who feel unloved and as such don't. I mean, I guess, I don't know. I mean, you fill in the blanks. It's not a good thing. That brings up an interesting topic. Let me quick check the chat though. Tingling sensation that usually begins on the scalp and moves down the back, neck, upper spine, pleasant. Okay. Don't kiss me. No, I will not. I don't swing that way. Juan Yasso says, you are the version of the modern day Bob Ross. Oh my God. That is like the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. I'm going to cry. Wow. Don Ross. There you go. So you're going to put in these little happy lines while you're talking about fascism. You guys are fucked up. You make me laugh. Fascist lines, little fascist lines. Oh my God, that's so funny. I used to love Bob Ross shows. I mean, who doesn't like Bob Ross? Come on. You gotta be a monster to not like Bob Ross. Get out of here. The fuck out of here. So I'm at work today and we had to do some driving. And I'm in the car with like a boomer that I work with, and he turns on the radio, and it's like conservative talk radio for boomers, basically. And he's like, do you mind if I listen to this or whatever? And I'm like, oh yeah, totally. I'm really into politics a lot, but I don't talk about it on the job, right? And he's open-minded enough to like hear what I have to say, kind of thing. I'm gonna zoom into this image a bit. So I know there's more tech, lots more. Hey, welcome to Ian 624. The men's loneliness epidemic isn't real, if that's what you're talking about. Well, I didn't say it was an epidemic, but I think it's very real. Hey, so maybe if they treated women like people, oh boy, here we go. So I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna respect your views on the topic. I would say that there's a lot that we could discuss on that. But let me back out and go back to what I was referring to. So the boomer. Yeah. Oh, well, dude, this fits right in with what you were saying. So check this out. So whatever, the guy is saying like, okay, why are people not having kids like anymore? Or whatever, the population decline, people not having children, something. And some dude comes on and he's like, women shouldn't vote and this and that. And then this woman comes on and she is really upset about what the guy said. And so she goes on her little spiel and this and that. And I tell the guy in the car, my coworker, that I agree women shouldn't vote. And he was shocked at what I said. And I was like, okay, statistically, I'm not talking about opinions, I'm talking about facts. Women vote for things. Why and how they vote statistically are always things that bring about destruction to society. And so these are just raw facts. These are not, it's not like it's not misogynistic to say the truth about how women behave statistically. You get what I'm saying? So, and then like the woman started in with like, oh, we're not going to have sex with men who vote this way. And I'm like, see, now that's exactly what I'm fucking talking about is like weaponizing sex and love against men in order to control us politically. That is diabolical. Do men do that to women? Fuck no. You see what I'm saying? Like, you see, oh, we're going to stop providing for you and protecting you unless you vote the way we want you to vote. This whole trope of like women being so innocent is complete bullshit. There's some very, very dark shit going on here. And so I pointed that out, to my coworker, and he explained these are just the facts of the matter. And then when she said those things, and it really, really drove my point home that like, notice how emotional she is. You know, if you're, I mean, I don't really think I need to go any farther. I think that kind of explains it. Is just this use of, and not only that, like there's this really weird kind of like weaponization of hatred towards men, politically by women, and that of course is feminism. Now let's back out and say like, sure, women are humans that have bad relationships with people, like it could be their father or this or that or one thing and the other. We all have bad experiences. I have bad experiences. Men and women have bad experiences. But who is it that's weaponizing it? Who is it that's telling women, okay, you're the victim, we need to make laws to take all the money away from your husband who you're divorcing because you want to go screw some other guy, and like ruin the children's psychology. And we can split hairs all night on all of this shit. It's very, very painful to go through. It's very, very dark shit. But anyway, so it was a really cool moment to see my boomer coworker go like, wow, and that opened up like a bigger conversation where I started talking about like WikiLeaks, Hillary Clinton's emails, child trafficking, crazy, crazy shit that, women are doing. And blah, blah, blah. So there you go. Splattercat had to go. Welcome to Robert E. Pyle. Thanks for joining us. I was talking about, let's scoot back here a little, see if I can read some chat. Hey, so maybe if they're that's true. Everything and everyone feels more isolated. That's why I'm hoping AI kills the ability to tell fake and real people, forcing people to communicate. Interesting point. Soygoy says, do you think the Shiloh incident proves cancel culture is slowly dying? That is a very, very, very good question. I don't think the data's in on that. I think we need to kind of wait a bit and see, kind of, you know what I'm saying? I've seen or rather heard people say that, and I think it's jumping the gun a bit, Cancel culture is extremely powerful, and I don't think it's just going to disappear tomorrow. So these are just kind of generally my thoughts. It does seem to show that that overall, like, whites have had it. We've got black fatigue. That's become a meme now. Yeah, and the numbers show. The numbers show. And it's not just the numbers. It's like the comments in Shiloh's GoFundMe. People are just unhinged, like they're completely speaking the truth without any barriers, any kind of like politically correct limitations, and the world can see the truth of how white people feel. which is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. So I'm really, really pleased with that. Just quick reminder: it's not the easiest thing to talk and draw at the same time. If I stop drawing, I can get a little more focused on like, you know, saying whatever I need to say or something. But sometimes it gets kind of comes out muddled a little bit. I could probably be more articulate if I stop drawing for a second. Anyway, let's carry on. Do you think shallow? I wasn't talking about that, but it's at least the truth of male loneliness epidemic. But either way, I'm talking about everyone. Platonic relationships are dying. People will fall in love with AI. Oh God, and robots. Right? Where is Spud? He left. Feminism is not that. Feminism is fighting for equal rights. Dude, you're way, way, way out of bounds. Like, I mean, it's. I don't blame you, and it's cool because like everybody used to think that way. But until you find out the origins of feminism, and here's the deal. So, you have a choice. You can look up what I tell you to look up, or you can continue to live in ignorance. And that's it. And I don't lose either way. Like it's your call. I don't, I'm not here to fight or whatever. But here's the deal. Opinions are not facts, right? Facts are facts. Who invented feminism and why? How did that fit their political agenda? And then that's it. Let's start there. Because that's fairly simple. So look up the Frankfurt School, look up cultural Marxism, and you will begin your journey right there. There you go. So the CIA funded Gloria Steinem, Jewish feminist, by the way. That's going to matter when you start reading about the Frankfurt School. And they funded the magazine, the first feminist magazine called Ms. Magazine. What the fuck is the CIA doing funding a feminist and a feminist magazine? Why would they do that? So many things to learn in this wonderful world. So I wish you the best of luck with that. You're really taking the red pill. If you're still here, you might have left. You turned off the music, so we'll need singing and drawing at the same time. Okay. It's a wonderful world when you know the truth. eMaster285 is here. What a cool name. What's eMaster? What does that mean? Is that like a character? A video game character or something? What is that? Anyway, even women know feminism is Marxist. It's based on my favorite letter. Oh, okay. There's a letter. The letter E. Oh, I see. Okay, awesome. Well, golly gee, I've never thought about what's my favorite letter. I never thought about that. Fascinating. Things that make you go, All right. Let's see, what else have we got here? So this is like a kind of a scene of destruction, and kind of a little tedious. It's not as fun as drawing like cool anatomy and fight scenes and stuff, but anyway, there you go. I've gotta go, but hope you have a great day. Hey man, I really, really appreciate your coming. I enjoy your presence. You're part of this community. Thank you. I really appreciate you being here. Have a good one. Okay. All right. So Robert, how's your show been going? What have you been doing on your show? Robert's got a show on Odyssey. If you want to pop your link in there or something, you're welcome to do so, Mr. Robert. I don't know how much more I want to put in here. eMaster now, right now, I'm trying to play a game, but I'll stay in the stream to see the cool art from time to time. Well, golly gee. Cool. What game are you playing? Robert says, I'm actually taking a break from streaming right now. Okay. Is there any reason why? Just curious. I'm like drawing every blade of grass. It's ridiculous. I must be insane. Stop. What else have we got here? What time is it? 10:30. It's a survival game in horror. Woo! Sounds like fun. Oh, I just remembered what I'm trying to do here. I think I might have to put the music back on. Ian 6, hold on here, survival game. I've done my research. Feminism was first introduced in 1700s, and is described as the efficacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of the sexes. I've checked multiple sources on this. Well, that's awesome. I mean, you know, I guess the question is, if women are equal, then why? Okay, so what this is about is advocacy for things that they should have to support their needs. And that's beautiful. That's something I totally support. But I think you might be mistaking women's rights for feminism. Like, are they the same? Yes and no. So all I'll ask you to do is just do a quick search on cultural Marxism. You can use that term. I would probably recommend you go to goyimtv.tv for the resource. goyimtv.tv, because those are uncensored resources for history. And then you can do like a quick search on the cultural Marxist school, Frankfurt School, cultural Marxism. So that will be an exciting journey, indeed. Yes, indeed. I remember when I first learned about it, I was like, oh my God, I couldn't get enough of it. I was like, I need to research every single resource I can find out about this topic. And then, really, really, it's kind of like getting a bird's eye view of things. When you see things from a certain vantage point, you go, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, that's what it is. So let's see what else we got here. One source does not make your info true. Well, without having even looked at the source, maybe you can make that statement. So you have to actually first look at the data, and then you can draw your conclusions. That's how logic works. It takes a little time and effort, and it's tough to do when you know that it's probably going to force you to change your mind, because that's what adults do. When we find new data that shows us we're incorrect and it's irrefutable, then you have to change your position, because it's like, oh, well, there it is. There's the truth. Because there's an old expression, they say that truth doesn't care about your feelings. But there's another expression that says feelings don't care about the truth. And I think you're in that category, because you seem very passionate about this. And I'm passionate about it too, and I wish the best for women, and I love women, and I want the best for them. And part of me wanting what's best for women is to free them from the ideological chains of feminism, which is ultimately Marxist, and a weaponization of women's rights against the family, against culture, against civilization, through a war of the sexes. And so how does that help women being at war with men, hating men? Not at all. Not at all. So pretty heavy stuff, no doubt. But you gotta, sometimes the truth takes courage. It really does take some courage to see things that otherwise you don't want to see, especially if all your friends agree on a certain topic, and then now you're the one that knows the truth, and now you don't fit in with your friends anymore. And it's like, shit, now am I going to get kicked out of the social group because of the truth? And that's where the courage comes in. The courage to be like, you know what? I'm not a slave to ignorance. I'm going to follow the truth and enlighten other people and free them from ignorance, So there's no like hatred or anger involved in any of that. It's just maturity is what it kind of boils down to. You know what I mean? Which is nice. It's nice to be in that world with other mature people, Pyle says, I just want to break and work more normie job as well. Work other projects, streaming takes a lot out of. Yeah, believe me, I know. Fighting for women's supremacy is called okay. That's what you're talking about. Yet you don't love them enough to let them be equal. Well, I don't let them be equal. They are equal through nature, through biology, in the regard that men and women can't survive without each other. This is the way nature and God has created us. So what you might mean is politically or legally equal, meaning access to the same things or whatever, certain. So I think that's what you're trying to say. Yeah, so that seems to be the impression that I'm getting. Are you getting all your sources about feminism just the Google? Right, yeah. Quora, Wikipedia. Oh God, ouch. Those are like the most leftist resources that you could use for trying to understand anything. They're completely psyoped. You're not in a good place, my man. But here's the thing. I'm not trying to offend you. I'm just trying to just talk to you, because I was where you were like some years ago. And many, many people are in the same place. And they don't get out of that by having someone being rude to them. So I apologize if you think I'm being rude to you, but I am trying to, kind of introduce you to some new ideas. And sometimes for new ideas to, well, I'll say like in there's a story in Japanese Zen where this guy comes from America and he wants to learn Zen Buddhism. He wants enlightenment so bad, and he comes to the greatest temple and the greatest teacher, and I'm gonna be your best student and enlighten me. I want to be a Buddhist monk. And the teacher says, the master says, okay, well, but first let's have some tea. So he puts a cup out in front of the American and he starts pouring the tea in the cup. And the American's going on and on about, I've studied, Zen Buddhism and I know everything about it and I can quote all these scriptures and I'm so smart and I teach it in the college and I know everything about it. And the monk is like, oh, interesting. But then he doesn't stop pouring the tea and it starts overflowing out of the cup and onto the table and on the floor. And the American's like, what are you doing? Stop, stop, stop. I did to stop. And so then the Zen master says to him, well, like, how can I teach you Zen when your cup is already full? Dramatic pause. So nobody can learn anything if they think they know everything. Does that make sense? That's just I'm in the same boat. I don't know everything, but I don't close my mind off and insult other people on the internet to make my ego feel good about shit that I don't fully understand. So like that's just like it's a thing, and you got to get past it, and it'd be better for you if you did. So I hope that you can hear what I'm saying, you know. And years from now, if you do actually get out of this, if you get through this, you probably remember this conversation. And I hope that I did some good for you. That's all I got to say. So we'll just leave it at that. Um, listen to them talk about people's rights and saying something. Nobody in academia even uses those things as a research. Actually, these are some most trusted. Are you? So by saying like, are you looking at Fox News, is a really really good indicator to me how you are locked into a political dichotomy that I'm not even in. I don't. Fox and CNN are both controlled and owned by the same people who are controlling a narrative to make people like you and us, you and I and my crowd fight with each other. And meanwhile, they get away with murder doing all their bullshit. And I'll tell you straight up, and here it comes, baby. They're Jews. They're Jews, and you just hit the jackpot, bro. So if you can follow that rabbit hole, you will be free from the matrix. And I know that I just gave you too much information at one time. I hope that you can digest it, but these are the people that invented Marxism. These are the people that invented feminism, that invented what's it called, Antifa. These we're still at war with them, but you just don't know it yet. And then if your mind is like completely shutting down right now in a total like panic, then they win. You get my point? That would mean they won, That's how it works. Because I've only had this same conversation like 10 million times on the internet. And like I don't have any need to like offend anyone or fight anyone. When you finally leave the matrix, you really only have compassion for people that are still stuck in it. So that's all I gotta say on that. You try to help, but like sometimes it's foolish to even try to help people because they don't really want to be helped. It's more about righteous indignation and all this other horseshit. So, but I think I gave it a good college try. I don't know. I think I gave it a good college try. Let's read. We got hypocritical. Sadly, Wikipedia is dumpster fire. Well, like Wikipedia, for example, there's videos of Israeli Mossad having meetings to go on Wikipedia. Literally have like parties where they take all their Jewish propagandists and they go onto Wikipedia and change everything because the public can edit that information. So, how could that possibly be like intellectually sound as a resource for any kind of information? I mean, it's kind of insane. I mean, it's a nice resource for some kinds of things, but definitely not for political things. Because you know for sure that people are gonna psyop that. Um, this page is. I think I'm kind of done with this page for now. I don't feel like kind of bored with it, to be honest. I want to move on. Um, this is kind of a new. Well, this is a new page I just did. It's not 100% finished, but it's pretty neat. The Noahide beast is starting to fight with Militiaman. He like vomits out this acidic vomit goo on him, and then he's like stuck in this kind of like it's like that. And then like Westguard and Goldheart have a little, like look if like it's kind of saying like if you want to help us you can help us, but if you're gonna fuck around I'll kill you basically. And that's where Goldheart is like, listen man, I'm on the right side here, and I found out that Judeo-Christian news is evil, and I just found this shit out. So like, I want to do what's right, but I'm kind of in a confused state. So that's when the angel kind of pops up, and he's like, okay, guys, actions speak louder than words. If you want to show us, you want to prove to us that you're on our side, then get in the fight. And then, the next couple pages are going to be like where they really, really go to town. Go talk to all. Ian says, "Go talk to all my teachers I've ever had, and they'll tell you." See, that's what's hysterical about it is that the education system. I used to be a high school teacher. Okay, the education system is totally fucking infiltrated with Marxists. You cannot get a job. You can't even pass your classes unless you completely agree with all of their leftist talking points. This is how it works. I have an art degree, a state certification, and if you don't tell them everything they want to hear, you can't graduate and you cannot get a job. So I'm telling you as a teacher, all of them are Marxists or they're peddling leftist ideology. So you can throw all of that shit in the garbage for sure. You had teachers that he literally said he doesn't think women should be allowed to vote. So let me ask you a question. How do I put this? If statistically, let's say, okay, we have a vote, national vote. In fact, we have tens of, like decades of votes, and we analyze all the data, and we see that women always vote for things that ultimately hurt society, then why the fuck would we want them to vote when it hurts you as a man, when it hurts everything to do with a stable society? Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why democracy as a system is a bullshit system. It's a fucking retarded system. Because you don't give voting rights to people who don't understand politics, who vote emotionally, who cannot intellectually look at data and say, wow, this is good, this is bad, I'm going to vote for what's good. Makes no sense, right? If you look in the Constitution, they never intended for this, that this is a republic, not a democracy. And that's it. There's nothing around that. So the Marxists clearly understand this, and they have put women in positions of power to become the managerial class of the destruction of America. I get that might be shocking to you, but It's just I'm way, way, way down the rabbit hole farther than you. And I'm not insulting you by saying that. I'm merely saying there's a lot more to go. And I hope you get there. I hope you get there. But I hope you can at least see the logic of what I'm trying to say. Now, what else can I say? So here's my solution. Forget about not giving women the right to vote. Just destroy democracy completely, and let's get rid of the entire system because it's a bullshit system. Why? Let's say you're in. Okay, let's say you're a football fan and you love the New York Jets, and you're in a group of people that 95% of them love the Miami Dolphins. Okay, let's all have a vote on which team that we're going to go see. Well, guess what? You're going to lose because everybody else in the group is in a different culture. You see what I'm trying to say? That's why democracy is ridiculous. It's absurd. It's highly corruptible, highly. Here, and I just paid all those people to vote this way. So now you're screwed because I'm a corporate hegemon and I can just pay people off. The system of democracy is a joke, okay? It's a joke. So all this, we'll save our democracy, that's just because you're losing. Shut the fuck up. If you won the election, you'd be destroying America with immigrants in the millions, with stealing our tax money and sending it to Israel and Ukraine and 100 million more child slaves from China and Central America. These people are monsters. That's why I am third position, because we have to have a system that the system itself, it's baked into the system that it's good for society. Okay? So I think that hopefully settles the topic there. They are largely pioneered sex. What do we got? A message. There you go. Oops. It's not really possible to be a Republican. I was raised in a Republican house, formed my own opinions as a group. So now, are you anti-Republican because you're rebelling against your parents, though? Or is it because it genuinely doesn't align with, I don't know, good values or something? So Scroger says, do an early life check on Mangus Hirschfield, Ludwig Levi Lenz, Felix Abraham, Eugene Steinach. So here's a dude that can drop names on you. You see what I'm saying? So go there. Whatever you can do to get into cultural Marxism, the Frankfurt School specifically, go there. Read as much as you can. That's nice. I don't think anyone else here is Republican. No, I'm not Republican. Tell her about your philosophy teacher coworker. When you say hurting society, I'd like some examples that aren't opinion-based. This is why Plato and myself and Monarch says democracy also devolves a trend as a witness France. So, for example, flooding the country with foreigners, immigrants, setting up massive $100 million programs to house and feed them. How does that help you and me? How does that help Americans? That's just one example. Okay. France Revolution. Well, even if there aren't Republicans, people playing, have definitely been leaning right. Oh, dude, we're far right. You stumbled into a Nazi enclave. So, I mean, I know in your world the word Nazi probably is really bad and taboo. And it is actually a slur. It's just short for National Socialist, which is an actual ideology that took Germany from a third world country to the most powerful country in the world in 2 years. 2 years. What other political ideology can do that? Now, granted, it's the German people who are amazing. They're some of the most hardworking, disciplined, logical, creative people on the planet. So that's one side of it. No, the fastest here might some political left-leaning people. Yeah, so that's the curious thing about fascism. It's really the bridge between left and right wing. it could actually be what brings together the left wing and the right wing. But again, because the communists control the narrative, nobody will learn about it. They shut their minds and they throw around mean words and act like a bunch of fucking children. But lucky for you, you came to a YouTube channel where you can go see my show called What is Fascism? If you just scroll down the live section, you'll see that. And then, excuse me, I interviewed an expert on the topic of fascism, and so he explains it all for you very clearly. So there you go. Merry Christmas. Now you know. Wow, what an exciting chat we've had today. Muy interesante. So, problem is, I'm getting really tired. What should I do? Yeah, I work today too, and it's going on 11 o'clock, and that's my usual breakdown time. My internal clock is telling me go get some rest. So what else? I'll check the chat here. Yeah, it's almost 11. I lean towards the left because I've heard people's struggles and I think they deserve equal rights to others. And and if I was Republican, I wouldn't be accepting for things I can't change. So that's really beautiful. I think it's wonderful that you care about human rights and the benefit of whatever people who need whatever their problems are. So here's the question though: is like, would you take rights away from white people to give rights to non-white people? Because everyone has rights. The rights already exist. Nobody's taking rights away from anybody. It's just a narrative that leftist news teaches you to weaponize you against people like us. And until you realize that, you're going to still be one of the kind of they're little clowns, sort of. And I'm not saying you are a clown, but when people propagandize anybody and get them to think like that, then they've made you like a foot soldier for class warfare, which is, of course, communist. You got to ask yourself: do certain people deserve rights though? Because like, if all they do is produce crime, robbing, raping, killing people all the time, like how the fuck do they fit into society? How are they any good for anybody other than themselves, We're going deep tonight. We got a lot of deep questions here, gang. Very, very interesting stuff. Yeah. At root, fascism and National Socialism is about survival and the natural order. That's so beautifully said. Zoe's here. Hey, Zoe, welcome. Ian, attempting to sign things. That's I don't understand that. Yo. So, what's up, Zoe? Are you an artist as well, or are you just like comics, or where are you coming from? Well, unfortunately for you, so it's like the end of the show, actually. Um, oh, okay. I'm sorry about that, Ian. I didn't catch the correction thing. So, yeah, I've been streaming since 9. So I've been going for 2 hours. Uh, I'm a bit tired, so I'm gonna have to wrap it up. But I appreciate the conversation. I hope that I helped in some way. I wish you well, and I hope that you can, do some good in the world. I know you got a strong heart, good, compassionate heart. It's just that people who are very sensitive, like you and I, were very easily manipulated, and that sucks. It's really unfair, but we have to be super extra careful about propaganda. It was nice hearing what you had to say, even though I don't agree. Well, God bless you, man. That is a really great sign of maturity right there to be able to feel that way. And I salute you. So, anyway, on that positive note, I shall see you guys. I'll sign off and see you guys next time, which is probably tomorrow night, okay? Unless I'm out partying with the ladies. All right, God bless. Scroger, true nationalism, such as National Socialism, is like a large family unit. Totally. The three pillars of fascism, Nazism is God, family, and nation. Just think of those three things: God, family, nation. What ideology is centered around protecting and preserving those three things? I leave you with that. And good night.